Hey everyone, I'm Jason from Trading Games.
And I'm Chris.
And welcome to our video. We've been doing these videos weekly for Trading Games, and we've been talking about video game stuff. A lot about collecting, a lot about investing, a lot about grading video games, and some collection tours and stuff like that. So if you're new to the channel, we just talk about everything video games, but we do have a little bit of focus usually.
Right.
And then we break it up with some collection tours and stuff like that. So, but today we're gonna just kind of we said we're going to try and make a short one. We'll see about that. Yeah, good luck once we get talking. But we were just talking today, right in the middle of working on a super busy day. And we're just like, well, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Video game prices. Just regular video game prices.
Yeah, exactly. So, we spend a lot of time talking about like WADA and Heritage and all these different things, which, we have a strong focus on. But on top of that, we're not even talking about, we did a video a while ago where we were showing the uptick in all these games, but it is more just a conversation of like what it's like working in a video game store like this and how things have changed over the past year to year and a half.
Just since the beginning, because the store's been open 19 years.
Yep. And
just things have really, really changed. And, there's some really interesting points to make.
Right.
About going forward and the spending habits, the collecting habits, and just what people decide to spend their money on for entertainment purposes, which is what video games are, you know what I mean? Now, it's just changed, and it's changing the way stores like this and GameStop and
other mom and pops and, little bigger chains.
The way we operate. So, something that I'll just kind of like start on is we were just today the conversation started with changing a price on a game to $14.95.
Right. And that
last
was 007
on GameCube. Whoopie-doo-dah. Not rare. $14.95 in the St. Louis Midwest market, probably almost anywhere it's around that price.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that it was valued at $14.95. Last time we had it, believe it or not, I don't know when it was $4. But we were just thinking, like, the value of entertainment of $4 is literally giving this game away.
Yeah. You have to understand, we, especially here, like, we do put a lot of time on that. So, like, anything you see on our website, like, we've taken it, we've processed it, we've cleaned the disc, we've photographed it, we've taken that photograph, we've edited that photograph to scale on our website. We're not, like, making it look prettier in editing. We price it, we put it on the floor. That's a lot of process for a $3.95 sale, it's honestly almost like cost efficient when but it's more for the customers than anything else.
When that last time that game came in could have been years ago, and it was just things were cheaper, like back then, and quite honestly, it was like we knew it was a $4 or $5 game, we probably gave $1.
Yeah.
But when it came in this week, it was like $4 or $5 cash. $7 or $8 in trade now.
Heck, it's a GameCube game. We're excited to see those every single time I see them.
So we're just kind of talking about the mean value of video games. Like the standard is just changing. There also used to be built into video games at stores. We would sell a game, any game, you name it. Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy on Super Nintendo, you name it. Cartridge, beautiful condition. They weren't collectors. They were people just buying. And back even 15, 20 years ago, it was $25, $30 game. It's only a little bit more now. And they would buy it. They would actually play it for a month, and 9 out of 10 people brought that game back.
Makes sense.
I sold the same game 10 times, and then until it finally made its way into like a collection.
Yeah.
And then it come back. Now, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's really a one-way street, like every now and then, like 1 or 2 games, someone will be like, I spent more than I should and I need a little bit extra money. I bought this. Can I bring it back? But like 9 times out of 10 when someone's in here looking they really want that Mario Kart 64, like it's just staying with them at this point. They're like, I found it. I got it. I'm done with it. It's mine now. And it does not make its way back. So we have to wait until someone else finds or unearths or gets rid of that
Decides
copy.
to get rid of it. Yeah, and so that's what's really, really changing. But it's happening across everything.
Yeah.
Not just like the in-demand games like Mario Kart and stuff like that. It's just like everything is having like almost like a one-way direction where it's emptying people's old collections that they remember, when they were, and kids have moved out, and parents are getting rid of stuff, and there's all the different circumstances to get rid of games, but it's just completely changing. And then, also selling something for $15 that's a good game is cheap entertainment now.
Right. Well, I have this personal mentality with some of this stuff. So, like, this is just kind of some of the stuff we were talking about, which brought to this video. And 314 was like Pi Day, so I was like, I'm just going to get a pizza from DoorDash. I didn't feel like cooking that night. And I ordered...
Watch your analogy.
Yeah, I will. I won't say it the exact same way. So anyway, and I ordered like a decent pizza from a nice pizza place, but it was a medium pizza and it was $30 delivered, okay? So I kind of look at it like this. Like, let's say if I went out to the bar or like to a nice dinner with just like a friend or two, I would have it wouldn't even register if I'm spending like $50 to $100. That might be different for some people. And some of you that watch these videos might be like, that's not even my first glass of wine. Some of you might be like, oh my God, $50 for dinner. I'm eating peanut butter and jellies every day. Like, it's different scale for everyone, obviously. But my mentality behind it is usually anything that's under like around $20, like even under $100 for me in most cases, like, if I get this thing that I want and get to own it forever, it's really not hard for me to spend that money,
well, it brings
right?
you value, brings you entertainment.
And exactly. Yeah. So I look at it like I would spend that money and go out, and that's my entertainment value. Well, if Final Fantasy 3-6 on Super Nintendo, it's probably like $60 retail maybe at this point, maybe $50. So if it's only $60 for me to buy that game and then I just have it now forever and I can do whatever I want with it, like, I never see it as like a big thing. What I'm noticing now is I feel like a lot of collectors, especially if they've been doing this for a long time, I'm going to use just a buddy as an example. He came in here today, good friend of ours, Adam. Adam, good buddy of mine, he's been shopping at this store since he was a baby, right? Like, his exact words when he was in the store earlier was like, I've been coming here since before I could drive myself to be here. And he says that as he's holding his newborn child. Like, he's a grown adult man at this point, right? And we were talking about, he's kind of losing some of the collector bug. And he worded it really specifically, and I really liked what he said. And what he said is he felt like it was too exhausting now, and that, like, let's say he was on Facebook Marketplace and he found a Super Nintendo. Well, at this point, he knows that it's probably going to be like $80 to $150 for the system, for probably like a dirty one. And then maybe he really wants to go play Chrono Trigger. Well, now that cartridge is like $250. And so he's like, at this point, it's just not even something he has any interest in. So it's interesting to watch people that have been collecting for a while. Maybe they're getting priced out. Maybe it's just because they've been doing it too long or they're finding new interest. But I feel like some of them are waning their way away. However, what we're seeing is like a large increase in standard baseline pricing, and I attest that to just people playing games now. So, I specifically brought up to him and I asked him, like, how much would you pay for Mario 64? Is it just spitball? He was like, man, like $20, probably be the most that I would ever pay on it. We can't even keep it in for 2 minutes if it's at like 50, and I know stores that sell it for 75, 80, 90.
Nobody will even come off of them.
No, but again, to me, it's like the mentality is shifting, that it's not like some collector that like wants to go grab Mario 64. They're like, oh yeah, man, I want to play Mario 64. I can afford it. I can pay X dollar. And then the other point I always bring out is like, at this point, if you have a PlayStation 5 or the Series X, a new game is $70 plus tax. That's $77, give or take, right? Call it 75 to make it a little easier. So again, if any game at this point is under a $75, like, that's kind of the base point of entry for a video game now. And yes, I understand that like Walmart price matches Amazon and some of them are like $10 cheaper and all that stuff. Like, yes, there's ways to get them a little bit cheaper and so on and so forth. That doesn't take away from my generalized point though, right? It's like, at this point, $50 for Mario 64 to have the thing you want and to get a full game experience is not unreasonable to just someone that wants to play the game, and it's hard for them to find it, We had a customer recently come in and, he bought a Mario 64 and he showed it to me and I was like, oh, it's super fake and it's a repro. And, we talk about the repro problem and stuff like that. Some people are happy just playing it or whatever, but like he had no idea. He's new into collecting. He had never even seen it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, it was only $23." And I was like, "I don't even need to look at it. It's fake, right?" It was.
Oh, yeah.
Spoilers, but you know, so it's just like that ability to like have someone else navigate that education for you and just like kind of walk in and grab it. Like they just see the value and they're like, "Hey, everything I buy at this store or your favorite local store, whatever, you know, they like the people, they like the engagement, and you know, there is some layer of like attachment that comes to coming into the store and getting it. But again, I just think the biggest thing is I think there's less collectors buying that just standard stuff.
Yeah.
And more people are just like, hey, okay.
The crazy thing is, it's almost like it was 15 years ago.
Well,
they just buy it for the entertainment factor, beat it, and then. But now, like everybody's becoming a collector, but they're not like collectors. They're not going after. Like they just want the stuff they had.
Yeah.
And they don't really care how much it costs, which is making the prices go up.
Yeah.
But then it never comes back, which hurts inventory, so it makes prices go up, you know, because then you got to get them to get off of it.
Yeah.
When I say that, it's like, you know, if they paid $25 for it, so now if they come in and I'm like, I'll give you $15, they're like, yeah, $15 is not important to me. I'll just keep it. Oh, so what's it going to take you out of that? Oh, like 20? I'm like, well, that's like $5 for the store. It's really not enough.
You can't operate on margins of a 20% profit margin, and you know.
But then I buy it for 20, but now it's 30.
Yeah,
5,
and which is going to keep driving those prices up too.
So it's just a circle that's happening, and it's not happening with everything, you know, but it's happening with a lot of stuff, you know. So maybe this last couple years has been cheap, too cheap. GameStop driving prices down, which competition does. It drives prices down, but clearancing out and getting rid of stuff to make room for new is different than things just kind of fading away.
Well, and you know that's another point I make a lot. GameStop's done with all of this stuff now at this point. Like, when's the last time you walked into a GameStop? Like, they might have like one GameStop Case 360 game on a 4x4 rack that's like combined with all their other games. So now that the largest retailer of video games is done with pretty much every generation up to just, I mean, I still consider PS4 current gen. I know it's not. I know there's like the PS5 and the Series X, but like there's like 10 games or whatever out for them now. So like we're just going to call PS4 and Xbox. That's all current gen. Switch, right? They don't even have anything. So now they don't even care what the price is in. And when they were first in there, they kind of do have a layer of control. Once they separated themselves from that equation, now it's blindly eBay, secondary stores, secondary market, Facebook Marketplace is equipping more and more people. It's like, you know, an algorithm is saying, hey, you found your copy of 007. The average people is spending 15. Would you like us to help you sell it? Mercury, they're like kind of letting all these people know that they have some value. People are doing their own independent dealings with each other. People are still supporting all these other stores and stuff like that. But, you know, it's just different. And
things are changing.
And it...
Not for the bad.
No.
It's still real good. It's still very enjoyable and still good to have a store that people can go to.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, it's hard to see prices go up because they are, and there's lots of things that affect that. There's a global pandemic that put a lot of people home. There's, you know, do I think that there's some correlation with the WADA and Heritage stuff that we talk up? Maybe very title specific. That 007 is probably never going to see an increase, but like your box Pokemons are, you know, so it's very, very specific to the title. But, you know, I think really the general thing that's changing is, you know, the customer. And I know we talk about that a lot with the WADA grading and stuff, but that's not the same type of customer I'm talking about. I just think the mentality is that, hey, I just will pay money for a game because I want to play it.
Well, they'll buy 4 games and spend $50 and like, this is great. This is still less than one new game.
Yeah.
And we got the whole house entertained. You know, for weeks. So it's just changing in that aspect. So it's not for the worse. So it's just different, and you know, that's the way it's going to be from now on. But also stores, other independent stores, they also have to learn how to adapt to lower prices.
Also true.
Also, and that's what makes a lot of stores go out of business. They don't know how to lower prices. They only know how to raise prices. So that's also an adaptation.
Yeah, and I mean, your location is, different for every area,
That's why I started the video with, like, hey, in the Midwest St. Louis, because this is completely different market than East, West Coast, Northeast, or Northwest,
or
Oregon,
even Chicago, which is only like 5 hours away, but it's just a different cost of living, a different mentality. You're going to be a lot more expensive in Chicago than you're going to be in the St. Louis area, just because it's Chicago, So there's just so many factors that go into play here. It's definitely interesting to watch. It makes our job a lot harder because, like, you really have to check everything,
There's no price list.
We had a Pokemon Fire Red in a couple weeks ago, and it was like $60, and then I was looking it up and the one just sold on eBay for $127 loose. So as a store, what do we do, right? Like, okay, we've been selling it for $60. $120 seems high, but even at $120, it's cheaper than the most recent sale. Do we meet it in the middle somewhere? How much did we put into it? Then now do I have to start paying $60 for Fire Red because it's worth $120 when we might have been only paying $20, and I'm just making these numbers up for that. So it's just kind of one of those things where, like, that dynamic is constantly changing and it's constantly shifting. For us, for the customers, for the prices. The other thing I point out, I also think Amazon has a lot to do with it. I say this to everyone, and I'm pretty anti-Amazon. I'm not going to get on my soapbox with that. But what I have noticed working in a video game store is Amazon for secondary market stuff is the astronomically most expensive place you can ever imagine to purchase a used video game. That is specific to, like, if you go buy the new Call of Duty like a week or two after it comes out, that's not what I'm talking about. But, like, every time I'll be someone, like, I sell Wii Sports for $19.95 at this store. That's what we put on it. And someone will be like, oh my God, I saw it online, it was like $64. And I'm like, you were on Amazon? And they're like, oh yeah, absolutely. I can't tell you how many times, I just know the price that they're telling me, they're looking at Amazon.
Well, it's like the kid in the store with his parent, and Mom, I want this, Mom, I want this, Mom, I want this. Mom never looks. Fine, it's Amazon.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You know what I mean? But, not an educated consumer, but even somebody who's just paying attention.
Yeah.
If they just paid a little attention, they'd realize that's way too high. But it's like Amazon buy button, little red button.
That's exactly right. And it's the number one shopped place, period. It makes up more commerce than all other websites combined. So there's tons of people that are just adding that thing they want into their cart, and they're getting their copy of Mario Galaxy sent to them with their toothpaste, in the same order. They're not even checking. They just look for what's the cheapest on Amazon. And that in itself is inherently raising a ceiling as well. You know what I mean? Because
lots of factors.
And then other stores will be like, well, I mean, if it's selling for $96 loose on Amazon and I got 70 on it, maybe I need to rethink this, We don't do that. We never look at Amazon. I hate Amazon, but
Well, this is the kind of stuff that we just start talking about in the middle of the day and said, this is going to be our video.
Yep.
And we just talk about weirdness like this. But, it's whatever the next topic is, and that's why we just want to just kind of, chat about it.
And you know what? We ask you guys to ask questions. We appreciate them. We've tried to answer a good amount of them in the comments, but how about at the end of this one, what's something you would want us to talk about related to this kind of stuff?
Yeah, let's work off that.
We did a collection tour, so I know sometimes people want to see a lot of the cool stuff and stuff like that. But if there's certain things you'd be interested in hearing us kind of do some research on or try to talk about a little bit, we'll do the best that we can, and we'll see what we can make happen. We can't promise that's definitely going to be your video, but we'll see.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Feedback.
Thanks for listening, watching. Hit that subscribe button, that like button, bell notification. We're doing them weekly now, so we've been
probably right here somewhere.
I don't know. I don't know how to edit a link into a video yet. Sorry. All right. Thanks for watching.
The amount of like buttons you see will shock you.
Yeah.
Have a good day, guys.
See ya.